my channel. Today's video is going to be another, I was going to say late night gin chats. It's currently, I mean, relatively late, but like there is no sign of the darkness, which is great. I'm not complaining at all, but I also don't have a gin because I have a meeting after this, so it's late-ish night, not so tipsy chats today, I'm afraid, but the format is still the same. It's just slightly less cozy vibes. I apologise. As you guys know, this style of video is really relaxed, really chill, just a chance for me to answer your questions. They can get quite long, and somebody suggested that I use the new YouTube tool to like put the questions like time marks that you can skip through. So if there's a topic that doesn't interest you, or I'm talking about spoilers or talking about something that perhaps is upsetting to you, then of course you can skip through that, and let me know if you would like me to keep that sort of style of thing, and I definitely can do. As always, I hope you've got a snack, a gin ready, you're in your comfies, ready to just chill with me, and without further ado, I suppose, let's get on into the video. Any further though, I just wanted to say that this video is once again very kindly sponsored by the Great Courses Plus. You guys know I've mentioned them so many times in my gin chats before, but honestly during lockdown they have been such a lifesaver. I've really been struggling with, which I kind of am going to touch on in this video, the sort of lack of mental stimulation, and doing an online course and expanding your knowledge in a way that's not academic, as in like you're not being assessed on it, there's no deadlines, there's no homework, is so rewarding now more than ever. So for those of you who don't know, the Great Courses Plus is basically a subscription on-demand video learning service with over 11,000 lectures from top Ivy League professors, experts and professors from other leading universities about any subject you could imagine. Cooking, crafts, science, music, art, technology. There'll definitely be a course on there that you fancy, and there's something for all curiosities. I'm still working my way through the course about the connection between music and the brain. It's really been fascinating me, and especially now I'm doing a lot of radio work. I've kind of been applying the knowledge to songs that I've been playing on the radio, which has been so cool to see that crossover and to see how the course is kind of helping me understand things in my daily life. It's a really great way to train yourself to realise that learning doesn't have to be done in a classroom with deadlines. It can just be a way of you exploring areas that are really interesting to you. So if you go to thegreatcoursesplus.com/Eve, which I'll put above me on the screen, but also obviously in the description, you can start your free trial today. I dare you to go do it, find out something new, find a new area that you can be interested in, learn new facts to impress your friends when we're finally allowed to meet up again indoors, whenever that will be, or outdoors. You can share facts outdoors. I don't really know why I said that. But anyway, thank you so much to the Great Courses Plus for sponsoring this video, and without further ado, let's get into the chat. So as always, the sun has decided today is the day to go in and out behind the clouds. I'm not even gonna say sorry because you guys are probably used to it by now. Who am I kidding? We're not exactly the most professional setup here on this channel. So I've got a few different questions ranging from really trivial ones to more deep ones, so I'm just gonna work through them in order of when I've screenshotted them basically. So the first one is a very trivial one, and it's from Just Joy Kennedy 14. She says, you can only go to one restaurant for the rest of time. Where are you picking? I screenshotted this last night, if I'm honest with you, and I've really been thinking about it kind of all day. I don't know, because I was thinking like to be sensible, you would pick somewhere like a pub, because a pub serves multiple different cuisines, but then again, it's not going to be the best of each cuisine. So would I rather be able to have different types of food, like British pub food, but also curries and like American style food, but then like they don't serve like Thai and Chinese food, and the Indian food is always wanting a little bit. So I really am not sure about this one. I think I am just gonna say, I think maybe Italian. I feel like maybe Italian is the one. No, because I also would prefer Thai food and Chinese food, because you can make Italian better at home. Well, not as well, but do you know what I mean? Like, whereas like I can't cook a Thai and Chinese food to the same level. I'm gonna go for, I don't know what specific Thai and Chinese restaurant, but a Thai and maybe Tycoon. Tycoon is really good. But it would depend on like the availability of said restaurant, do you know what I mean? Because like Tycoon is only in a couple of places. So can I just say like the general category of Chinese or Thai? You know what, I can't even answer this question. If you guys have got a better answer than me, then please do put it down below. I was tempted to say Nando's as well, because I do love a Nando's, but like that's hardly top cuisine, is it really? And you can try and emulate a Nando's at home. You can try and emulate all foods at home. No, I'm not. Do you know what? I've dug myself into a hole. Let's move on. one place, it's not a restaurant, but one place I would never be able to give up though is like the local chip shops, because orange chips, battered chips, if you are not from the West Midlands and you do not know the pleasure, the joy that is battered chips, do you know what? If that's going to count as a restaurant, then it would have to be that, because you can't make those at home and they're so good. If you've not had orange chips, I'll put some photos on the screen. But they're so delicious. They're so crispy, and it just makes all other soggy fish and chips pale in comparison. My next question from Ella Foster, and she says, do you have any post-lockdown anxieties? So for those of you who don't live in the UK, or well, I should probably say more specifically England, because obviously each nation state has different rules. On Monday the 12th, which is 2 days time, I believe, if I'm uploading this on Saturday as I normally do, we are going to be easing lockdown, the next stage. So schools have already reopened and you are allowed to meet up with 6 people outdoors, or 2 households. And on Monday, I believe it's gyms, non-essential retail, outdoor hospitality, self-contained accommodation, which I'm so excited about. Oh, that's the one I'm the most excited about. Have I got them all right? There's still no mixing indoors with households. That's kind of the last thing that will come back. But I believe, you know, you can kind of you can meet people outdoors, you can go to the pub, you can do all of these things, which I'm so excited about. So things are changing quite a lot from Monday, and the stay local rule is being lifted as well. So there's no requirement for you to stay local, I don't think. Do you know what? I'm actually a bit confused, because I'm not gonna lie, Matt Hancock, I'm pretty sure stay local is still in force at the moment. And then over the Easter weekend, Matt Hancock was like, well, I'm driving up to Suffolk to see my family outdoors. And I'm like, well, is that local from London? So I'm a bit confused. I think everyone is a bit confused. And so I think everyone should just be really nice to each other as the lockdown rules ease. Obviously, if people are going to like raves, like, and breaking it blatantly, you know, being like, screw lockdown, screw restrictions, like, obviously then maybe we should be calling them out. But if people are just kind of misunderstanding, because it's all just very, like, nobody really gets, I don't think anyone knows, myself included, or the government included, exactly what constitutes as what, if you know what I mean. Anyway, that's a whole different thing. Lockdown is easing, and oh my god, do you know what? I'm so excited. First and foremost, can I just say I'm excited above everything. We have got a table booked outdoors at our local Italian, which is my favourite restaurant. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I've not been there since 2019 and I'm dreaming of the food, like, every night. We've got that booked for Monday, and we also have a table booked for Friday at another restaurant that we really love in the area, and I'm going to this new bar opening on Sunday, and it's like, oh my god, we can actually do things again, obviously outdoors and in a safe way. I'm really excited to go back to the gym, if I'm brutally honest with you. I'm so excited for a pint in the pub, outdoors obviously. But like, even though it's a small step, I'm just really looking forward to that. But then there's the other side to it, where I don't know if anyone else has, I feel like a lot of people would actually have experienced this, that your commitments, your life commitments have kind of expanded to fill the space that once was taken up by socialising. And so I really don't know, like, I was planning my next week and I was thinking, oh my god, like, how am I going to fit this in and this? So on Monday, for example, I was like, right, well, I need to go to the gym. We've also got this, you know, we're going out for dinner. And I've also got the radio show, and normally I'll have the radio show and then I've got the whole afternoon and evening to get on with other things. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I've got to get up at 9, go to the studio, I'll get back from the studio, I'll finish at the studio about 1, go to the gym till about 3, come back. Then by the time I've got back and sort of sorted myself out, the dinner reservation's at 5:30. And I was like, oh my god. So when am I going to have time to do my work and stuff like that? So I think I'm very nervous about that side of things. I'm definitely very nervous about, like, refitting things back in, but humans are very resilient and we adapt very quickly. So I would say give it a year and we'll think, oh, how do we just sit at home all day and like not have all these social commitments? Like, as I said, a task will fill the time that you give it. So it will just be a case of like, I'll be a bit busier, which I've actually been very grateful for the rest period, like 100%. These last 3 months, they've been busy, but like manageably busy, and I've had a lot of free time in the evenings. But I am excited to start going and visiting and seeing friends and stuff, even if it is just outdoors. And oh my god, like, I have not seen Liv and Lizzie and Lydia and Noo and Molly for a year, for 14 months. By the day that we're planning to meet up, it would have been 14 months. And I know that I can still only see them socially distanced and outdoors, but the fact that I can actually go and see them is, the joy that brings me is so immense, because I've not seen them for 14 months. Also my school friends, like, I'm just really excited to be able to just leave the four walls that I've been living in, really. I suppose the other anxiety is that I still don't know what's happening with international travel. I still don't know what's happening with Spain, and I think we're going to find out from uni next week. But even if they do give me the go ahead, I'm a bit like, do I want to leave a country where the vaccination rollout is going really well, where I'm on track to get my vaccination, where the incidence of COVID is low, to travel to a country where the cases are increasing? Not because of fear of like being put under any more restrictions, just in terms of like, my immunity period is nearly over. I had COVID back in November, and so my sort of 6 months is nearly up, and I would just be wary of that. And probably the final thing I would say about this, sorry, this has been such a long segment of the video, but I just have so many thoughts, is that I was feeling a bit more anxious about things opening back up, in the sense of like, oh my gosh, what if I'm asymptomatic and I spread it without realizing, like on a bus or like traveling somewhere, or do you know what I mean? Because you're kind of out more places, you're more like, because I mean at the moment it's the radio station, which is completely like socially distanced and surfaces are all disinfected all the time, or the supermarket really. But now they're introducing these two twice a week lateral flow tests. I'm like, oh great, I'm definitely going to be making the most of that. I would encourage you to as well. If you live in England, you can just get them delivered straight to your door, and you can get tested twice a week, and I think that that will definitely give me the peace of mind, not to break the rules. I'm not going to be like, oh well, I'm negative and hence the rules don't apply to me. More just to know that I can go out and about within the new rules and get rid of that anxiety. Does that make sense? I don't know if it does. I'm really sorry if... No, I was apologising. I'm sorry, I'm not apologising. No, why do I do this? You know what, I'm going to stop talking about this, because I know that I just am always going to get shit for breathing in the comments when it comes to COVID stuff. Basically, I've got a load of plans that I have planned. We are going to a self-contained holiday accommodation together as a family, which I'm very excited about. I'm going to finally see Liv and Lizzie and New and Molly and Lydia, which I'm very excited about. Finally gonna go back to all my favourite restaurants and the gym and the pub, all of which I am thoroughly excited about. So I hope that you have plans that you're excited for too, and then hopefully on May 17th we'll be even further along. Who knows? Keeping my fingers crossed. And yeah. So the next question is from Meg, and she says, do you miss seshing? I don't know if COVID has made me grow out of the sesh life. Me and Liv have been having conversations about this a lot recently, because I've not been hungover since my birthday, I wouldn't say, but I have not missed the effects of drinking a lot. Does that make sense? As in, I really have missed the social element. Some of the best times of my life have been, you know, nights out with friends, and if somebody walked in right now and said the pandemic's over, we're going clubbing, you best believe I would be taking one too many shots. But that being said, like, I really haven't been drinking at all, especially in this lockdown. As in, I genuinely would say I have a G&T a week, and if somebody offers me alcohol, I'm just a bit like, because for me now, it just makes me tired and sleepy, because you can't like go out, and you're not drinking socially really, and so I really have noticed the benefits in terms of like my energy levels, like my mental sort of health, because I get really bad anxiety. I mean, I already have anxiety, but like I have anxiety on top of that. And just general well-being, like I've really noticed a difference. And so I don't think, no, that I will go back to how I was in my first and second year of uni, where I was just drinking, then going out for junk food afterwards. Like, I don't think I'll go back to that. Do I think that I will become like teetotal and like only have like a G&T a week when things go back to normal? No, we're going to 2 restaurants next week and a bar, and I fully intend on enjoying that. I think it's just going to be more of a balance, I think, going forward, because obviously as you get older as well, your ability to tolerate a lot of alcohol declines. I had a 2-day hangover, which I was like, whoa, I'm only 21, this is a bit unfair. But no, so yes and no. I do miss, I would love a night out, but do I think that I'll go on as many nights out, and do I think I'll take it as far? Probably not. Probably sometimes, definitely. There's definitely still going to be times where you go out for a couple of drinks and you end up waking up the next morning thinking what's happened. But I don't think I'll probably be doing that as much as I used to. You can still go out clubbing and not take it too far and have a really good time, and then you don't feel as awful the next day. Does that make me sound like such a granny? I do sound like such a granny, don't I? And the worst part is as well is that I actually do just prefer bars these days. Like, I love going to a bar with my mates or the pub rather than going clubbing. I do like clubbing too. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think I'm just... I can't tell if it's the pandemic that's done that or if it's just me getting older. Let me know what you think about seshing in the comments, because I'd love to know. The next one is, how have you been finding your radio work? Oh my god, I've been enjoying it so much. Like, when I sort of contacted Black Country Radio, I never thought that I would be doing my own show. That kind of comes to an end next week. I was doing like a 4-week slot because I was obviously supposed to be going to Spain mid-April, and so I said, oh, can I just do 4 weeks? So my last 2 morning shows are next week, but then they've been so happy with me, and the guy who I was covering for was enjoying my show, and like they've had such good feedback that they were like, oh, if you're still in the UK, then we'd love you to do the Wednesday and Thursday morning show. And so it's a really bittersweet thing, because it's been like my favourite thing that I've been doing. It's been the thing that's kept me sane throughout this lockdown. I literally look forward to it so much. I enjoy doing the show so much, especially the politics show, because you know me, I like talking about politics. And I've learned so much, and it's really been nice as well to have even socially distanced, like, social contact with like the other people at the station who are kind of about. And yeah, I've definitely realised that I would definitely love to do something in the realm of radio, or just broadcast journalism in general. So that has definitely been a big pro. I think the con right now is that, it sounds awful, but that I do kind of need to go to Spain, really. If Spain opens up and the uni say it's okay, I probably will go to Spain for like 2 or 3 months, I think. I'll come on to that a bit later. And they have said that I can carry on staying involved remotely and things, but even when I go back to uni, I'm not going to be able to do it anymore. And it's kind of bittersweet, because I have been really enjoying it, but obviously all good things must come to an end. But yeah, depending on what the university say next week, could be doing it for a few more weeks. I'm excited as well to cover the local election. I'm definitely not going to Spain until after the local election, because that is such an amazing opportunity to do like overnight election coverage. You know, Dudley Borough Council is not the most exciting election you'll ever see in your life, but it is exciting to our viewers, and it's exciting, like, to me as a member of the West Midlands community. So I'm very excited about that. So yeah, big thumbs up on the radio work. It's just very sad, because it's not sad that I have to go back and finish my degree, and I'm sure as soon as I get back to Oxford and I start my degree, it'll be fine. But right now, the last thing I want to do the last thing I want to do is my degree. The next one is from Anna, and she says, talk about Line of Duty. So obviously, as I said, if you haven't watched Line of Duty, now is your time to make use of this new feature and skip past this answer, because there probably will be spoilers in this section. I need to have a sip of my drink before we start this conversation. That show, why did nobody put me onto this before? As I said, I've had a lot of free time in the evenings recently, and I binge watched all 5 seasons in literally a week. Like, I'm not even joking you. I started it and I just couldn't stop. It is so friggin' good. Now, probably a bit controversial, but do you know what? This isn't even controversial. I'm not afraid to say it. Season 2 and Season 3 were the best ones. Season 4 and 5 were good, but not as good as the Lindsay Denton storyline. Keely Hawes, she's in everything. Why is she in every single show ever? Now I've seen her in Line of Duty, she's just appeared everywhere. Lindsay Denton was robbed. How did nobody go to her funeral? I literally think about this at least twice a day still. Nobody went to Lindsay Denton's funeral. Now, I know she wasn't perfect, but she stayed true to her copper morals, relatively, kind of, till the very end. And she helped get Dot. And she helped break up all of those, like, that list of people. Nobody, not even Steve, went to her funeral. Steve really grinds my gears sometimes, man. Like, can you just get through a season without having a romantic involvement with one of the witnesses or one of the police officers? Just saying. Second point here would be, I have the biggest girl crush on Kate Fleming / Vicky in general, because, oh my god, those cheekbones, the hair, the power suit, the power moves. I love her. She's literally great. I want to be her, like, so bad. I wish I was that badass. Love it. I'm watching season 6 now. Really enjoying it, actually. Really enjoying it. It's perfect Sunday night viewing. And I'm not gonna lie, the season 3 finale was some of the best TV I've ever watched. And if you haven't watched Line of Duty and you are watching this section, I would 100% recommend. Like, I don't really watch that much TV, but that was good TV. So if anyone ever wants to talk about Line of Duty, just message me, because I probably will want to talk about it. The next one is, how's it going with your pill journey? So funny you asked that, because I literally went for an ultrasound this morning. But, oh my god, it's such a nightmare. So basically, my doctor put me in for an ultrasound in early January when I was having the real problems with the hair growth and the weight gain and just these hormonal mood swings. And just, I was crying like genuinely minimum 4 times a week, sometimes multiple times a day. And I'm not that sort of person, you know. So she put me in for the ultrasound in January, but obviously in January we were at the height of the second wave, and so New Cross, which is the hospital that I go to, had suspended, like, you know, all of its non-essential things. God, wow, good job I'm not a doctor, because I can't do medical terminology. So I got the letter like 2 weeks ago being like, oh, the ultrasound you requested, it's time for you to come in. I was like, okay. Meanwhile, obviously I'd been put on the pill. So I went in today, feeling quite nervous actually, you know, never had an ultrasound before. And there's 2 types as well. There's the tummy one and that one. And I wasn't sure which one I was going to be getting, so I kind of just walked in like, oh, this is going to be fun. So anyway, they did the tummy one. And they were like, no, you're fine, like, you're quite slender, so we can see all of the stuff inside, which was a big relief to me. I've never heard somebody use the word slender before, but go off. So they did it, and while she was doing it, she was like, oh, so you wanted this ultrasound in January? I was like, yeah, because I was really struggling with really like more erratically irregular periods, and like the symptoms that I had as I was younger had gotten worse. And she was like, oh, okay, so have they put you on the pill then? Have they put you on a pill? I said, yeah, I've been on Yasmin for 2 months. I've literally just finished the 2nd packet today. It's all going swimmingly. It's really helped, etc, etc. And she was like, well, this basically makes this pointless. And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, because you're on the pill, we can't really, your ovaries have kind of shriveled up a bit, and for whatever she was saying, that they can't really tell. She was like, we've got the clearest image that we'll be able to get, like there's no point in doing the other scan because the image won't be much clearer, but like I can't tell you for sure that you've got polycystic ovaries because you're on the pill. And I was like, of course. And she's like, don't worry, this has been happening for like 3 weeks now. They're working their way through the backlog. And she's like, a good 3/4 of the ultrasounds we've been doing have been pointless because they've already been put on the pill. And so she basically said to me, if I come off the pill later in my life to start a family, then my doctor can just put me in for the other type of scan, and that will give me the answer then, because obviously that is going to be when it's important, if that makes sense, because it can have a slight impact on fertility if that is the case. But she said if the pill is working for you, then there's no need to worry about it, and we wouldn't be able to tell anyway. So bit of a wasted journey-ish, but it has actually kind of reassured me, and I did get a steak bake. In terms of the pill, it's literally done wonders. I genuinely cannot stress to you how much of a difference it's made to my quality of life. Obviously there could be more side effects down the line. I have mainly had I've had headaches slightly more often, which I was told was kind of a common side effect of this pill. I've had no nausea. I've had no water retention. I get water retention for 2 days, and but it's like what I love about this is that all of the symptoms that I do get, I can literally track to the day, and they stay for exactly the same amount of time, and it's just completely regular and completely predictable. The hormonal mood swings have disappeared. I've not had a hormonal cry since I went on it, like genuinely. I've not cried in a while, I'm not gonna lie. And all of that random weight that I gained, I've been able to shift a lot easier. Not that you need to lose weight, I'm not trying to say that, I'm just trying to say that that was one of the symptoms that had randomly appeared, like with no context, in January. And yeah, I just feel so much better in myself. I can plan my life a bit easier because my periods are regular. Yeah, big thumbs up from me on this pill. I really hope it just carries on the way that it has, because it's really made a really positive difference to my life. And even if I do have PCOS, which I obviously probably won't know now until I come off the pill, it seems to be doing a good job in managing that. So the woman at the ultrasound said not to worry. And so yeah, that's basically probably the last update I'm going to give you on it now, really. It's been a bit of a journey the last 3 months, but I'm really grateful that I was second pill lucky and that this one, also can I say, it's cleared up my skin no end. I get really, really bad spots for like 2 days the week before when I get bloated. There's like 2 days where I'm really bloated and this part of my skin really breaks out, but it always used to be here and here, so love that for me. But genuinely my skin has cleared up no end. So to conclude, like, she's done a good job, you know, and it works for me. But obviously I want to stress that different pills work differently for different people, so please don't hear me talking like, oh, Yasmin's great. Some other people really don't get on with that pill, so don't take the specific pill, you know, and go to your doctor and be like, oh, I want this pill, it seems to have worked magically for Eve, so I think it will work magically for me. You might have to try loads of different ones. You might be lucky and get the first one works for you. Just talk to your doctor about it. Basically, the type of hormone, no, it's the same type of hormone, it's just a different way of making the hormone compared to the first pill and the second pill. And the reason that she put me on Yasmin straight away was because she could tell that the reaction I was having to the first pill was because of the type of artificial hormone that it was, if that makes sense. So she was like, I'm just going to put you straight on a pill that's made in a different way, and it's worked a treat. It has worked a treat. So that was my fun ultrasound pill story. I hope you all haven't fallen asleep. But the next one is, how are you feeling about your final year of university? Oh, it's such a tricky one. First off, can I say that it's April, aka in 6 months I will be sitting my first, like, you know, mock exam of final year. I literally couldn't remember the full title of one of the books I was studying the other day. Okay, so I'm like 50-50 buzzing and 50-50 like I actually would rather stick pins in my eyes. So I'm really excited to go back, to be in Oxford, to see my friends, to have the social life, to study again as well. I am excited. I like my subject, I like my degree. But having had a year essentially out of it, you know, I've realised that like academia really just is not what I want to do, that it's not the be all and end all in my life, and that, you know, as interesting as my degree is, there's other things I would rather be doing at the moment. Like, you know, I've really been enjoying doing the Meridian, the radio and podcasting and everything, but I know I need to finish my degree, obviously, and I want to finish my degree. I find it interesting. I just can't imagine myself back in that one essay a week. I can't fit everything in at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's without the deadlines, the essays, the translations and stuff. I don't know how I did that. I think that for me, at the moment, I'm just like, how did I do that? But every single time I go back to uni, I have this panic. I think it's just a slightly larger panic because it's been a year. But it will be fine, and I know I will adapt. I think for me at the moment, it's more just like, what am I going into my final year for? Am I going in there? Am I going to throw my everything at it, cut off all other things that I'm doing and try and get a first? Or is that not going to be my priority? Am I going to just want to have my best time because the pandemic's already taken so much from me? Do I not just want to party and have fun, see friends and enjoy all my other commitments and perhaps sacrifice my grade a tiny bit more? What's important to me these days? I don't know is the answer. So I'm hoping it will all become clear, and I imagine as soon as I get back to uni, my inner perfectionist will rear its ugly head and I'll go back into work mode. But I don't know. Oh, it's such a difficult one. I don't know if anyone else that's had a year out is feeling the same, especially because it's been such a weird year out of like being stuck in the childhood home and stuff. I don't know. I don't know. So yes, how am I feeling about final year is the answer to that. Now the next one is a topic around eating, disordered eating, calories, etc, etc. So please, 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 if it bothers you, if it upsets you, if you're going to be triggered by it in any way, please skip past this question. It's an important one and I like to be open and honest about it, but I completely understand that if you're at a point in your journey where it's not going to be beneficial to you, please do skip past it. And it's, have you felt any disordered eating thoughts come back with your recent fitness journey? So first off, I would say, you know, like, yes, okay, a lot of you have messaged me and have noticed that I have lost quite a bit of weight. You might not have noticed, and that's also completely fine, because really, it's a personal thing anyway, and it doesn't define who you are as a person even slightly. But I have had comments about it, and questions have come with those comments, as they would for someone that puts themselves on the internet, and you see a lot of me, if that makes sense, because I'm posting on the internet. Because I have just been exercising more, if I'm brutally honest. Like, I've just really got into fitness, and I've really been enjoying working out. I'm by no means a pro, my form is not amazing, I'm not going to be a personal trainer anytime soon, but I have been enjoying it, and I'm very excited to go back to the gym next week, purely because honestly, like, when I went to the doctors in January, the doctor did suggest that I really try and exercise more, because if I did have PCOS, that was a really good way to combat the symptoms of that. So I honestly do think that that might have also had a really good impact. I'd be interested to see, if I stopped exercising and carried on taking the pill, what that kind of combination would be. Anyway, whatever I'm doing at the moment seems to be working swimmingly for me, and I feel a lot better in myself than I have in a really long time, actually. But obviously with you know, exercising more can, you know, you can lose weight, and I don't know if it was the pill that kind of contributed to that. I really don't know. Anyway, so I have lost, I'm not going to talk about like numbers or anything like that, because I mean, your weight literally is just a number on the scale. I have lost some weight, and with that comes change in body image, like perception of me. And I mean, obviously, those of you who followed me for any length of time will know that for a few years when I was younger, I really did struggle with disordered eating, and I had really bad body dysmorphia. I look back at photos of me when I was younger, and there was nothing to me, honestly, and I wasn't eating, and it really wasn't healthy. But I remember thinking, oh my god, like, I can't go out looking like this, I look awful. And I really don't, you know, I think a lot of people can probably relate to this. I'm really not trying to say that any weight is an ideal weight, or that you should look one way, or that you should try and gain weight or lose weight or anything like that. I'm just talking about my personal experience and how I've dealt with it. So I've always been really careful since that time, that if I've ever sort of thought, oh, I'm gonna try and be a bit healthier, that I don't let myself slip back into like severe restrictive thoughts. And I suppose as I started exercising better, I did want to eat a little bit healthier, but I've been really conscious that if my mom says, oh, would you like we're gonna have a takeaway for dinner, would you like it? Or if I go out and I don't know exactly how many calories are in something, I'm not gonna not eat it because of that reason, if that makes sense. Because that's what started to happen with me when I was 14, would be that I wouldn't eat something if I didn't know how many calories were in it, and that's when you start to go down like a really restrictive and horrible route. And I think that leaving yourself that freedom, and if I have had intrusive thoughts, I have been like, oh, you don't know what that's been cooked in, like, could it throw you off? Or like, is this healthy? Should you be eating something healthier? Should you be eating cleaner all the time? Like, and you do get those thoughts. I do anyway. I think that's just because I am someone that has really struggled with it in the past, and so that never really goes away. But I have been really proud that I've just completely fought those thoughts. I really haven't felt restricted. Like, if I want to go out and eat my body weight in Italian food next Monday, I absolutely will be doing that. And I think it's just about developing a really healthy, balanced mindset. I don't want to like say too much. I am already really stressed talking about this, because I really don't want to offend anybody or say something that might be taken the wrong way. But I suppose the one issue I have had, if I'm being brutally honest, is the body dysmorphia, in that I have lost quite a lot of weight, and so people in my family have said, oh wow, you look really, you know, without meaning to, you know, have said, oh, you look really good, have you lost weight? And then there's that kind of thing in your head of like, oh, I've lost weight, so they think I look better, if that makes sense. And you know, sorry, I really struggle talking about things like this, but I think it's good to be honest. And like, so in that way, that's been harder for me, is making sure I'm not building those associations back up in my head of the skinnier you are, the more worthy you are, because that's not true. And of course family members and people in my DMs and stuff do not like mean that, of course they don't. But for me personally as well, like, I do have a really skewed perception of how I look like in the mirror. And so combined with that, I have sort of noticed that coming back. But as I said, I have come a long way since I was 14, and I am definitely a lot more aware of it now, and I've definitely not fallen back into the same patterns. I think it's just a case of, if you have at one point been in a severely restrictive mindset in that regard, you are more susceptible for those thoughts to return. It's just about how you deal with those thoughts. But as I said, I'm no pro in eating disorders or recovery from eating disorders or anything like that. This is just my personal experience, and I'm gonna move on now anyway. But yeah, please don't hate me if I've said something in the wrong way. I really didn't mean to upset anybody. Yeah, basically, yeah. Okay, next question. The next question and the final question is, where do you want to be a year from now? So a year from now will be April the 8th, 2022, which will mean that I will be in the final stretch of my final year of uni. I'll be revising, hopefully, very hard for my final exams, because they will just be around the corner. They're in May. So I think, where would I like to be a year from now? So there are multiple things. I obviously know exactly where I'm gonna be in terms of like physically. I'll be in Oxford. Corona, I will be in Oxford. If you're watching this, you'll have died down by then. Thank you. Hopefully vaccinated, live my best life. So, but in terms of like mentally where I want to be, I really don't want to have slipped back into my first year exam mindset of just being really unhealthy, revising way too much, sacrificing my physical and mental health. So if I was going to say where would I like to be a year from now, I'd like to be working hard, but also still finding time for exercise, having a balanced social life as well. And if that means cutting off a couple of hours of revision every day to fit in things that mean a lot to me and that are important for my mental and physical well-being, that's where I want to be. So I want to be working hard and focused on my goals, but also keeping myself happy and surrounded by friends and enjoying my life and making the most of my last 2-3 months in Oxford is the most important thing to me. So that was the whole video. Some of the questions were quite deep actually, but I really hope you have enjoyed. As always, these are my favourite videos to film, and I try not to film them too often, but I like doing them once every other month or so because they are just so enjoyable and I feel like I'm just sat having a chat with you guys. If you did enjoy this video, please do give it a massive thumbs up, and thanks again to the Great Courses Plus for sponsoring this video. As I said, everything that you need will be in the description if you'd like to get your free trial. I would very much recommend, and I hopefully will see you guys next week with a new video. Bye!